All right. Let me tell you something about our featured speaker. His journey encapsulates spikes of highs and lows in multiple sectors like banking, IT, political consulting, and the arts. A glance of his experiences span from breaking a Guinness World Record with his art group, ELAN, publishing an international anthology book, defining strategic imperatives for Indian banks and political parties, exhibiting arts on national and international platforms, and presenting the company on national CXO conclaves. Kunal Moon is a digital transformation consultant, TEDx speaker, and a visual artist. Please welcome Kunal Moon.
Thank you, Karen, and please keep it going for lovely Karen. So, wonderful audience, great to see you all here. It gives me immense pleasure and pressure to see and note that a lot of you are having kind of midnight time and time to sleep. So I'll try to make you the session as entertaining as possible. Fingers crossed. So today's session, let me share my screen. So this is specifically a TED Talk session where we get to know what is TED Talk from the first place, and also I'll give you a quick run through of the agenda. But at any given point of time, before we jump into the presentation part, I just wanted a quick hands-on how many people are aware what is TED or what is TEDx. Can a simple raise of hand that will help? I see a couple of you are aware of the platform. That's wonderful. Okay. I'll just skip a little bit about me and my speaking adventures. So today's agenda, specifically, we talk about what is TED Talk. So you must have heard this name. He is a TEDx speaker. He is a TED speaker. And that's where we will bridge those gaps, what exactly means when it comes to TED. Then comes, what are the most popular talks? What generally goes into building a TEDx speech? What kind of speakers have come on board and shared their vision? What's the actual reach of the platform in itself? And what's the kind of impact that platform has created? And if we talk about the vision, the TED's vision is simply ideas worth sharing. And this is all and everything is focused towards what kind of ideas are worth sharing. These are the well-formed ideas. So what is the kind of definition of the idea which is put forth by TED? Then there are different types of talk. It's not just about the kind of speaking adventures that a speaker will be going on platform and sharing a motivational speak, but there are different types of talks which is being pertained by approved by TED. So we'll go through a list of these talks. Then the most exciting part is what are different ways to become a TED speaker. So we will also share what is the kind of curation process that goes at the back end. And there are a few book recommendations. And at last, there will be questions. So you feel free to share these questions. At any given point of time, you feel that there are certain pertaining questions, you can just put it on the chat section. So we'll start with the first section. What exactly is TED? Let me just see or reshare just a second. Is my screen visible? Are you able to see the presentation or a browser screen?
We can see your slides.
Wonderful. So when we talk about TEDx, first of all, TED or TEDx ultimately means it's a showcase of an event where a speaker is presenting a kind of great and well-formed ideas. And the time limit is under 18 minutes. This does not restrict to just be under or nearby 18 minutes. It can range anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes to 18 minutes. Okay. However, the kind of small talk model is working since almost 1984, and that's what brings the best. And I believe Toastmasters also give a quite of advantage when we are preparing for our regular prepared speeches. So the kind of speeches that you are working over here, the same speeches can also be presented in the platform like TED. What essentially TED Talks represent is it's a kind of team dedicated specifically for researching and sharing the knowledge, and that matters through a small talk or a presentation. So there are events, those are conducted, and in these events, the goal is ultimately to inform and educate the global audience in a very inaccessible way. So there are scientists, researchers, technologists, business leaders, artists, designers, or any other world experts who are invited for the TED stage to present what we call as ideas worth sharing. And whatever the valuable new knowledge and innovation research is in their respective field, these fields are these informations are being shared in a storytelling format. At times, TED Talks are filmed at their flagship TED conferences events. And there are also independent TEDx events, which can be associated with your local, possibly institutes or local groups, and or partner events. And all of these events are in a recorded format, so are accessible across the world. A little bit of information about that. It actually was established in 1984, and the annual conference first came in from 1990. There's a Marutish, do you have a question?
Yeah, actually, I'm not able to see the screen. It's showing Kunal has started screen sharing, but it is not, slides are not visible.
Uh, are others also facing the same issue, or others are able to see?
Maritesh, I think that's an issue with your computer because I can
Yep.
see it.
Okay, I'll
We
restart.
can see it here.
We can see it here.
Yeah. Maritish,
Okay,
I suggest
I'll restart.
dropping out of Zoom and restarting it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So as I was saying, TED was established in 1984, and their first annual conference event was organized in 1990. While they have uploaded the videos in 2006, and immediately the kind of response that they gave, it accelerated the reach of TED Talks. The conferences cover a broad spectrum of topics. As I said, from technology to business to innovation to culture and spirituality, all the spectrum of topic are covered. And this mass spectrum of topics are also produced in different languages. So it's not restricted only to English, but there are 100 languages that these TEDx platforms are being arranged. Also, if you see and go to TED.com, so there are a curated set of speeches which are uploaded on the TED platform. So at present, there are around 4,200 talks, and there are new additions every now and then. But when we talk about the TEDx platform overall, since so many years these talks have been going on, all of their videos are also uploaded. So there are more than 90,000 plus videos of people sharing their ideas. And when we talk about the different type of events, almost 10,000 plus events are till date, up till 2020. So the count is still rising. So some of the more popular or the most popular talks of all time are one of my favorite, Simon Sinek's, where how great leader inspire action. The talk essentially talked about the golden circle, which Simon showcased. He specifically mentioned the concept of golden circle, which calls a kind of natural occurring pattern grounded in the biology of human decision making. And that explains why some people are more inspiring than the others, or how actual leaders of the world who are governing one of the best companies like Apple think when it comes to the organizations as well as decision making. One of the really great talks was with Amy Cuddy, where how you can use your body language and how it shapes who you are. So some of these findings of social scientists about the robustness and reproducibility was one of the references that Emmy uses. In one of the talks where schools kill creativity was presented by Ken Robinson, who makes an entertaining yet profound moving case of creating an education system that nurtures creativity. At India, over here, there's a lot of structured program, but when it comes to creativity, you need unstructured programs, and you need those kind of profound interest groups who provoke you to do something creative each and every day, and that's how you learn. So there are lots of topics which will be of interest for a larger group of audience, and these are some of the best topics. In fact, one of the great mention is also about the next outbreak. Before the coronavirus outbreak, Bill Gates talked of how the world should avoid the global outbreak by infusing more into the research of research on how we can reduce these outbreaks. So those facts were being presented, and in the hindsight, it looks really justified that Bill Gates was able to view all of these things before it even happened. When you talk about the global audience that TED has, if you see the YouTube page of TED, there are around 22.5 million subscribers for their TED page and around 37.7 million subscribers for the TEDx talk. TEDx talk is generally the local events where these speakers are invited to speak. However, there are certain groups wherein they are focused towards youth. So that's where TEDx Youth comes into place. It has around 500K subscribers. And when it comes to education series, so we have a TED Ed, which has even a greater following of 18.2 million users. So if we talk about the overall following which TED has, it's around 79 plus million. So if you are able to get hold of a talk invitation on TED platform, the visibility is with 79 million plus people. So it's a great platform to reach, and that's the kind of impact that TED has. It has around 10 plus billion views across the globe. And best part is, this is a non-profit organization, and they have been raising funds of 3 billion, which is used for the masses, for the interest of the majority of people. And when we talk about the languages, since there are more than 100 plus languages, so the ideas that is being shared, that can be distributed quite vividly across these languages. And being a part of the TEDx events, there are certain 3,000 plus events that are being conducted across the globe. So you can be part of the physical event as well as the virtual events where you are not able to access the physical podium. So what does TEDx platform focus on? It's the one thing, one word, idea. As their tagline says, it's the ideas worth sharing. But what is a great idea? What's a well-formed idea? Well, there are two definitions to it, which is being put by TED. It's either of these one of the two things. First is sometimes those are new and surprising. It could be an idea or innovation that your audience has never seen before. Second part is where a great basic idea with a compelling new argument behind it that challenges your belief and perspective. And these are not just the stories or the fact. These are backed up by the evidences. Okay. I remember when I saw the first TED talk, it was by Pranav Mistry. And Pranav Mistry is a computer scientist who built sixth sense technology. And there what he proposed is he gave a camera, but he hung the camera on his chest, and he used to take the picture by just putting the actions. Like when he's traveling somewhere, he will just do like this and the picture would be taken. Okay. And at any given point of time, he would want to sort the images. He would project the screen, project the camera screen onto any of the walls wherever he went. And by action of the hands, he used to get those pictures shuffled or arranged in a certain format. Those kind of ideas and innovation immediately tricked me into thinking, what kind of technology should I be working? And I actually opted for computer engineering post that. So that is the kind of impact TED platform also gives. Second part is a great basic idea with a compelling new argument. This is the talk where Simon Sinek mentioned how great leaders think. It is the third part where you can see there is a circle which is talks about the golden circle. So it talks about why, how, and what. When it comes to different leaders, they always think about what we need to do first, and then they focus on how they need to do it, and then ultimately answer the question, why. But when it comes to great leaders, it's the reverse. They first think why they have to do certain things, and then focus on how that vision can be implemented, and ultimately what they need to do. So all these talks provided with a confined set of facts and evidences becomes a great observation, as well as draws a great conclusion. Some of the different talks, those are presented during the TED, is a big idea first. As I mentioned, that if there are certain ideas that can be presented with a stronger point, so those can be shared. Or there are technology related demonstrations where on the stage a clever innovator will be able to present with those ideas on what the person has created, and these things can be presented. There are certain performances. So if anyone of you are interested into music, dance, or puppetry, all of these performances can also be presented during the TEDx session to captivate your audience. And then there is artist statement, where an artist showcases its artwork and explains the meaning and the process behind these artworks. There are small ideas where the talks are more about implementing small things which can make a big difference to the world. And there are certain issues which pertains to exposing the audience to a certain issue which is not the talk of the town, and those will create the impact of at least getting some attention with this with the issues, and that can be addressed by the political parties or by the companies who are looking to address such issues. If you want to learn more about the platform, you can always go to www.ted.com. This is the kind of homepage. Here they also provide you with you will be able to search the kind of speaker that you would want or the topics that you are interested, and also watch a lot of great talks. This is also a great way to learn how the simple ideas can be presented to the larger set of audience. The same thing we are doing with the international speech contest, where a lot of ideas are being presented and the focus is specifically on the message part. Okay. However, with TED, you are also able to explore different kind of technologies or different kind of political backgrounds that people are using human psychology to change the world. So all those ideas are being presented in the platform. Okay. And now coming to, if you're looking for something like a TED platform, I think, and you are really into a speaking profession, or you really want to share an idea, I think TED gives an amazing platform to the speaker. So definitely you should think on becoming a TED speaker. Some of the advantages is this platform gives a great tool for sharing the idea to the world. As I said, there is 79 plus million people who are associated with TED and have been following their content. So it's a great platform. But also additionally, it's a great platform for you to create a kind of personal brand. because you have a kind of global reach, the personal brand definitely helps you in building this, in establishing that credibility when you are meeting a client, may that be for your office work or may that be for your personal. So that gives a kind of credibility and authenticity when a platform, a global platform like TED hosts you as a speaker. This is also a great tool, not just to give motivation, but also take motivation. So you are able to meet a lot of innovators while you are there. A lot of scientists are there, business workers, entrepreneurs, or social workers, or just someone with a similar interest group. So when we are attending a TED event, a lot of networking opportunities do open. And of course, it starts your professional speaking career as well, because TED platform has a curation process which adds the credibility into your portfolio. And speaking about becoming a speaker, what are different ways in which you will be able to become a TED speaker? So there are essentially two ways. First is by nomination, second is by invitation. Nomination specifically talks about a speaker nomination form where you have to share certain information about yourself, and I'll show you the nomination form which is being generally presented and where exactly it is. Second part is by invitation. So whenever there is a local event, these are happening at the TEDx event or by the invitations that are coming from the TED conference. So they will contact you and eventually you will be able to present your ideas to them. So let's go first then. Nominations. Okay. So when it comes to nomination, you can simply go to the speaker nomination of TED platform and you'll be able to see. I'll just open the sheet and show it to you. Just a second. Yeah. So if we go over here on the speakernominations.ted.com, okay, they will give you a nomination form where you can put in your first name, last name, your kind of email address. If you're nominating yourself, you can put it, or you can nominate a friend or a person that you really think is a great speaker. And there are certain questions asked about a quick brief about your biography or the connection with the speakers if you're nominating someone. What is the kind of unique idea that you would want to share on the TED platform? Okay, and in one sentence, you have to focus on what's the kind of key takeaway that you would want the audience to take or feel from hearing your talk. There are also different categories in which you can place yourself: adventure, sports, architecture, arts, business, economics, education, all of these different criteria. And if you have certain you have spoken publicly before, you can simply paste up your video links over there or the audio information, and somebody from the TEDx team, once you are shortlisted, they will reach back to you. Second part is also to check the speaker nominations from the Google search. Okay, so if there are certain events, so this is particularly to the TED conference, so this is globally taken up as a speaker nomination. But if you are looking for certain local events, so what you can do is you can just type in TEDx event and say speaker nomination on Google, and it will give you a lot of nomination criteria which is there for different TEDx event. So here at Kanke, there is a nomination. At TEDx UTK, there is a nomination. There is in India, there is a institute called as AIMS Patna. So there's a speaker nomination form over here. So we can just simply go over here and fill up the nomination form, which is similar to what we have it in there. And there are certain instructions that those are associated. So once you get the invitation, you will be able to go on the proceedings, which is stated by. Okay. I'll just reshare the screen. Okay. So second way is also to check out different TEDx events. Those are being hosted at location. So how do you find it out? So just say TEDx event happening today. Okay, suppose. So it gives you a kind of event list. Those are happening. Okay. Generally, the speakers shortlisting process is done after almost like 3 to 6 months before the event start. But this is a place that you would be landing up where you can see the entire events. Okay, so this gives a kind of quick schedule, and you also have a kind of past schedule of the events. Okay, this also gives you a kind of quick map. So if you're looking for a certain month, okay, so if I just wanted to find out in 2023 which are the events that are happening possibly uh, in June, okay, I can just simply select those. For some reason there are no events happening in June. Okay, yeah, so here there are certain February events. Okay, and IIT Powai is in my nearby location in Mumbai, so I can just simply attend this event, or if I want to know more about the event, I can just simply click over here. I will be presented with who are the speakers who are present, and if there is any organizing committee who are the part of the organizing committee. So organizing team information is also shared over here. So you will be able to use this information, and directly you can also connect back with the organizers for a speaking slot, or just to understand when the curation process would start. Okay, moving on. Second part is where the okay, let me reshare the screen. Second part is by invitation. So there are different ways in which you can get the invitation. First is via a phone call from the organization. So if your mobile number is accessible to public, so they will definitely contact you by phone. Or else, if your presence is really solidified on social media platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, you will be able to connect. I have been able to get the phone calls, as well as people have reached me via LinkedIn platform. So Facebook and Instagram is something that nobody has reached. However, these are really a great platform to connect back with the people whoever is getting the invite. At times, when the social media were not at its peak, there are the physical letters were also being sent to the organizers. Now it's mostly the virtual invites that you get on mail. Okay. Now let's get to hear what exactly how the entire process works when it comes to TED. So there is a lot of curation that happens at the back end, and how these curation work is, I'll give you my personal story. I got an invitation in 2020, 2019, end of 2019, for one of the TED event, and they asked me about a certain form, and I'll show you the form that gives you a quick idea of what I'm talking of. Just a second. Okay, yeah. So this is the kind of message that I, as an invitation that I have received for one of the recent event in 2023. So similar kind of invitation will be provided, okay, where the details of the event will also be presented, as well as the guidelines will be presented. So here the talk duration will be 18 minutes as per the TED guidelines, and this will be from the speaker research and curation team of TED. Okay, the information will be information brochure will also be shared. This brochure will include all the information regarding the event. So what is TED, what is TEDx, okay, about the specific TEDx I am Ranchi event that is happening, what is the kind of theme. So every event will have a kind of one theme which will be pertaining, and all the speakers who are speaking will be related with these themes. So there is also a shortlisting process of the speakers who are somewhere down the line associated with these themes. Okay, and a little bit of idea about when that particular event started off, in which year, and some of the past speaker who have been able to speak. So these are the yearly events. Okay, and the past speaker list would be provided, and the ways to contact, the contact information about the organizing team is also being presented. Okay, so that's how the team connects back with you. Once they connect back, So they will be asking you certain information, and these information would be related with your past experience and achievement in the field of work. Okay, so what is the kind of notable achievement? What is the kind of very brief introduction about yourself? What is the big idea that you would want to share? In my talk, I shared the idea about break the goal, create the experience, which is the kind of secret of daily excitement and joy is to work for what really matters to you. And the beauty of the dream can be experienced in the journey and not in the end goal. So that was the overall message that I wanted to deliver. And as a key takeaway, I wanted the audience to take away that the beauty of the dream can be experienced in the journey and not in just an end goal. So there is a temporal effect of excitement, which is not really long term, but it can be made long term. And that was the overall talk about it. Okay. And what is the kind of expectation that you have with the organizing team? So all this information is being asked with the kind of time, estimated time. So here my talk was around 11 minutes. So I've shared it. Okay. And once I share it, the information, their team will connect back with me, and their team connected back with me and asked me to share the actual speech. So when the actual speech was being presented, there was a curation on usage of certain words, usage of certain message in a certain manner because of the kind of target audience that were present. And with a little bit of tweaking, your speech is ready, and that is the speech that you have to present. So that's how the entire curation process works. And if you talk about the process of curation, okay, so first is you get the invitation, you share your profile, then you are shortlisting. Process is based on the idea and theme, and ultimately what's the kind of idea that you would want to share. Okay, and then you fill up the speaker content form as well as speaker release form, and then you wait, and then you wait again, and you wait a lot of time, and finally you get a detailed schedule on getting that speaking slot, and finally you are able to present the idea to the world. Okay. And there are also other creative ways to get enrolled. So you can go to the nearby TEDx event and contact the organizers directly, okay, for the next subsequent event. Or maybe if you're aware about the theme of the event prior, you can self-nominate yourself and tell the organizers how your profile suits best for this particular theme. Also, you can get certain nominations done by the past speakers who have already spoken in the event, or you can connect directly with the curation team, or attend an event which is curated by the curation team, some other event which is not generally TEDx, but that could be an eye-catching for the curation team to connect back with you. And if you are regularly sharing your ideas to the social community, that really helps in getting the eye of the TEDx organizers. Okay. And some of the books that I really recommend is the official TED guide to public speaking. So there are a lot of science that is being shared of how a TEDx speech are being structured. Okay, so definitely by Chris Anderson, you should check it out. Then there is a phenomenal book, TED Talks storytelling. So there are different storytelling techniques which is being used. And then there is book of talk, like basically it showcases the kind of public speaking secrets of how you can talk like TED. Some of the world's best top minds of TED have been researched and presented. So all of these books will definitely help you in crafting that speech in a much more succinct manner and focus towards the idea that is worth sharing. Okay. At last, I just wanted to give you with one part that, remember, it's all about ideas worth sharing. No matter which is the platform, the ideas is something that you can share it with the world, and they will be able to reap the benefit. Okay. So that's it from my side, audience. So I'm open for any questions.
Sharing your screen. Let's see.
So if somebody has a question, should they raise their hand?
Yeah. Yes, that would help. Marutish, you have a question?
Actually, want to know that to nominate in the TEDx speak, will they see the fluency of English, or will they prefer for content?
The first priority is always given to content.
What is
As I
happening?
said, language is not the constraint. There are 100+ languages that are there on the TEDx platform. So if you are comfortable with other languages, you will be able to present your idea with the other languages. However, when it comes to fluency of that language, because it's a global platform, they definitely would want the speaker to present it in a certain format. And there is a kind of shortlisting process also beforehand, so they see how your other speeches have been in different platforms while shortlisting you. Yes, Karen.
Thanks, Kunal. I have so many questions.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so much information. I'm just going to ask two and you can pick one. How did you get the chutzpah to think that you could give a TED Talk to start with? And how do you, well, I have three. How do you get previous speakers to nominate you? I mean, if you did that, how do you do that? I know that was one of your suggestions. And how long before you nominated or got nominated or nominated yourself did you hear back? So any one of those three.
Yeah. What was your first question, so I can answer? Possibly, I think a lot of people will be having, and since we do not have further questions, so I can
Did you
answer all
get,
of these.
how did you, I mean, it's just, for me, it's just such a huge leap to go from Toastmasters to giving a TED Talk. So how did, in your mind or your heart, did you come to the idea that you could give a TED Talk?
Wonderful. Okay, got it. So best part about me was I was not aware about Toastmasters before I jumped into TED Talk. So I gave my TED Talk first, and then I got to know about Toastmasters. So it was lucky for me that I did not have those perceptions that I have to make up my mind to create a TED Talk. It's just that I had one idea and I really wanted to share, and I got in touch with their organizing team and shared my idea, and they really loved the idea. They asked me more in depth, so my profile had a lot of spikes, where some of these spikes were attempting for a Guinness World Record and finally getting the Guinness World Record. Then I have also been published international anthology book. Okay, and I was working as a computer engineer as an MBA, and I left my job to do painting and writing. So all of these experiences definitely something that helped me craft my own life, and just understanding where exactly my life is heading towards. And I found out that it's not mostly about the goal where the life is heading, but it's the entire journey, and how do you implement that journey in a normal day-to-day life. Okay, so that was my talk, and that's where I connected back with the organizers and got the process. So it was more about preparing more about the idea that I want to present, and not how I want to present it. Okay, so curation team will help you out with the speech structure. Okay, and since you're already giving prepared speeches over here, so it's not very different from what we are currently doing. It is just that it is a kind of physical stage, more curated environment here. Within Toastmasters there is a lot of positive feedback that you get, but that is where in TEDx you don't get a feedback. It is just you go over there, you speak, and that gets uploaded to the global audience. So if you are not really good, you will get the feedback on your YouTube or otherwise. Okay, but generally speaking, because there is a curation team that is there, so more or less they take care of a lot of things, and they also motivate you on sharing certain information. Talking about the second part, where you mentioned about how you nominate or ask the other speakers to nominate. So these are generally the speakers whom you are in your professional network. So if I have been in touch with a few of the speakers, I've never asked them to nominate myself, because I myself am a TEDx speaker, but a lot of other speakers, in fact a lot of from the Toastmasters community have also asked me. So whenever there is an event happening, I just share their information with the organizers whom I'm connected with, and they get in touch with their team get in touches with the speakers, and they ask certain set of questions. There is an interview process also if at all they feel the need, and eventually there is an invitation. Okay. And yeah, what was your last question? Sorry.
I don't know. I have that down here.
She
Did
asked
they
how,
ever? Go ahead.
oh, Karen asked how long after you put in your application did you have to wait to hear back?
Yes, so it takes sometimes 3 months, 6 months. In my case, it was 9 months. And at times you have to wait for an year as well. So it really depends. So during the COVID situation, a lot of TEDx events got cancelled. So that's where they postponed the event to the 3 months, 6 months duration, and it got postponed to the next year. So it was just once in a while, but generally speaking, you can say 3 to 6 months is a fair time where you can hear back from the TED team. Yeah, Bhushan, please go.
So my question is, are TEDx events themed, meaning based on a theme, and do they use the theme, and how do they use the theme to get the speakers or evaluate the speakers?
Yes. So TEDx event are always, it's a really great question. So TEDx speaker are always theme based. Okay. So there is one theme which is always associated with some kind of topic. Okay. So there is a difference between topic and a theme. Okay. Just to quickly share my screen. Okay. Here, if you see, I got an invitation, and in the invitation, I hope my is visible. I just got a error message from Zoom.
You can see a Word
Is my
document.
screen visible? Am I audible?
You are audible, but what are you sharing is not.
I think there was some issue at my end.
Okay.
Yes. So here, if you see, so when I was presented with an invitation and I was invited for the speaking slot, so there they have given me the theme, and this is the kind of the era of concerted chaos, which basically means is there is a lot of chaos that is happening, but it can be organized as well. Okay. And it can be like an organized chaos, and how does those things come into balance with life? Okay, so you own it, live it, as well as share it. Okay. And how my profile was shortlisted for this particular event is because I have been doing a lot of different kind of jobs. So it's a kind of chaos in my professional career. I was an engineer, computer engineer. I then was working as a banker, and then I left all my job, did painting and writing. So these are like four different professions. And eventually I came back to the corporate world, and now I'm selling digital transformation solutions. Okay. So what has been my journey, and how am I able to organize those chaos is something that was the discussion with their organizers. Yeah. Hope I was able to answer the query.
Yeah. Okay. So you send them some kind of a profile, and they look at it, right?
Correct.
Do
And
they also
the
interview
kind
you?
of, yes, they do interview.
Okay, that answers. Thank you.
Yes, Judy.
Oh, I had a question for Kunal.
I have a question. Oh,
Judy had her hand up first, Craig.
Okay.
okay. At the end of the 9 months that you waited, I'm so new to all of this. It's just like blowing my head all the way. Do you then give your speech live to a group of people, or is it all done via Zoom and YouTube and just recorded and then put out for the world to see? Where would I go see your speech? Practicalities.
Wonderful. So yes, there are both options. So previous to COVID, the speeches were physical events only, and most of the physical events were there. Some of them tried virtual events, but most of them were physical. Now it is mostly depends on the kind of TEDx organizers. So majority of them still are physical events where you actually go there and present yourself with the public. And in the virtual stage, you have been similar to the Zoom link is being provided to all the attendees over there. Okay, uh, I'll just sharing the screen. So this is a kind of TED platform. So you can just go to TED.com. So there in this page you can see and watch different kind of TEDx talk. Okay, so here mine one was because I gave it during the COVID situation. It was particularly virtual session. However, it was planned physical, but we had to do it virtual. So on the search bar, if I search Kunal Moon over here, okay, and it presents the search results over here, and it gives me a kind of you are able to view that. Okay, but also you are presented with different channels over here as a thumbnail. So there are different dance performances. Okay, so if you click over there, you can get to know what is the kind of stage, how it looks like the stage. So this is a stage where a performer is performing. Okay, and this is
There's a
high,
certain magic in the way
highly
that things are.
curated environment. Yeah. Yes.
Greg, do you have a quick question?
I have two quick ones. Okay, so Kunal, I couldn't hear everything you said because
Pick one.
there's a
Right.
lot of background noise here. So once you do the application and you get accepted, are you good? You can give as many talks as you want after that, or?
No, it is the invitation is particularly to one event. Okay, so
Oh,
once you are curated for and been invited for the event, only that
Mhm.
event will be there.
So each time you
After
want to
that,
do a new talk, you have to do a new application?
correct, and there will be a
Oh,
new entire curation process. Also,
oh,
second thing is because you have already spoken to the TED event, you get a lot of invitations with from the other events which are not TED, but you get a lot of invitations to present the same talk or all. So it's a
okay,
great
thank you.
advertising platform as well.
And there's no fee, correct? Or is there a
No
fee?
fee, no fee.
Oh, all right,
So
thank
if
you.
at any given point of time, anyone from TED team or anyone they are asking for a fee, it's not really recommended to go into that event because they are purely uh, non-profit organization and zero fee from the speakers. Yes, sir.
Thank you for your talk, Kunal. You've filled in a lot of blanks for me. I do have a question. Did you have a coach for your speech preparation for TEDx?
No, I did not have a coach during my speech preparation. In fact, during my speech preparation, I was actually on bed. So I was ill for a month and on the oxygen cylinder, literally. Okay, so I did not get time at that point of time. But it is recommended to have a coach if you are presenting to the global audience because the kind of reach that you have, and once you share the talk, uh, it connects you connect back with a lot of speaking opportunities at different portfolios. Okay, so that's where if you have a speaking coach, it really helps.
Some of my fellow Toastmasters have delivered TEDs, and the impression I got from them was they all did have coaches, but the coach is rather more an accountability coach for putting in the work rather than guiding the speech, because you are the author of your own speech. But I was curious to know whether it was mandated by TEDx or whether it was personal choice.
It's always a personal choice. It has never been mandated.
Okay.
And I did not even know about Toastmasters before. So I was simply sharing my view on the ideas, and those were well presented. And I was able to also get into, so there are 90,000 plus speeches across YouTube, but only 4,000 gets shortlisted on the TED platform. So mine one is shortlisted on the TED platform. So it was purely, and I was totally not prepared for it, and but I did not have a coach who helped me out. So it's personal choice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kunal, I'm going to have to take control of the meeting.
Sure. Just one thing, Karen. So I'm
Yes.
also putting a feedback link of the session. So if everyone who is part could simply fill in that form whenever in today's time, that would really help.
And so how are you doing the feedback? Are you
It's a simple form. So
Oh, in the chat. You're sharing it in the chat?
I'm sharing it in the chat. So.
Wonderful. Thank you. And maybe, maybe you'll be a TED Talk coach for some of us. Thank you for a wonderful speech, and I just still have more questions. So I am so glad to hear you. You're an incredible, talented